Hey, truth seekers. Welcome back to NewsDecoded, the channel that digs deeper when others scratch the surface. Before we dive into today's mind-blowing investigation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because what we're about to uncover will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about power, corruption, and the dark underbelly of American politics. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about this explosive story. Now let's get into it.
This is Dark Corners, where we expose the stories they don't want you to know. I'm your host, diving into the shadows of power, and today we're tackling the most controversial case that's currently tearing America apart from the inside: the Jeffrey Epstein files. This isn't just another conspiracy theory, folks. This is about broken promises, hidden truths, and a web of secrets that reaches the highest levels of American society.
Picture this. A financier with no college degree becomes a billionaire through mysterious means, hosts presidents and princes on his private island, and then supposedly kills himself in federal custody just before he could reveal everything. Sound like a Hollywood thriller? Welcome to the real-life nightmare that is the Jeffrey Epstein case. The story that's currently dominating American headlines isn't just about one man's crimes. It's about a systematic cover-up that has Americans questioning everything they've been told by their government. President Trump's Justice Department and FBI recently concluded they have no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list or was murdered. But these findings have only intensified public suspicion rather than calmed it.
Born in January 1953 to a working-class family in Brooklyn, Jeffrey Epstein's rise to power reads like a masterclass in manipulation and deception. His father worked as a groundskeeper for the New York City Parks Department, while his mother was a homemaker. Nothing in his early life suggested he would become one of America's most notorious criminals. After dropping out of Cooper Union and failing to complete his studies at the Current Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Epstein somehow landed a teaching position at the prestigious Dalton School in Manhattan. Despite having no formal qualifications in physics or mathematics, he taught these subjects until the school fired him in 1976 for poor performance. Here's where the story gets interesting. A parent from Dalton School recommended Epstein to Alan Greenberg, the CEO of Bear Stearns Investment Bank. Within 4 years, Epstein had become a limited partner, an unprecedented rise for someone with such limited credentials. By 1981, he left to start his own mysterious financial consulting firm.
Epstein founded J. Epstein & Company in 1988, claiming to provide financial management services exclusively to billionaires. But here's the catch. Nobody could figure out how this college dropout with no formal financial training was managing billions of dollars. His primary client for over 2 decades was Leslie Wexner, the billionaire owner of Victoria's Secret. The relationship between Epstein and Wexner defied logic. In July 1991, Wexner signed an extraordinary 3-page power of attorney document that essentially gave Epstein control over his entire empire. Epstein could hire employees, sign checks, buy and sell real estate, and borrow money, all in Wexner's name. Industry insiders were baffled by this unprecedented level of trust. Through this arrangement, Epstein gained control of cash and properties, including a Manhattan mansion and a Boeing 727 aircraft. He used his connection to Victoria's Secret as a cover, approaching young women by claiming to be a talent scout for the famous lingerie brand. Many aspiring models fell for this ruse, only to find themselves trapped in Epstein's web of abuse. The Trump connection. Around the same time Epstein met Wexner, he also became acquainted with real estate mogul Donald Trump. The two likely met in the late 1980s, and their relationship strengthened after Epstein purchased a Palm Beach property in 1990, just 2 miles from Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Their friendship was very public in the 1990s. NBC cameras captured them together at a 1992 Mar-a-Lago party, where Trump was seen whispering in Epstein's ear while pointing at young women in the crowd. Trump was also spotted with Epstein at Victoria's Secret events in 1997. During this period, Trump frequently flew on Epstein's Boeing 727, the same time frame when Epstein was most active in his criminal enterprises. In a 2002 interview with New York Magazine, Trump made what would later become infamous comments. "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." The friendship ended abruptly around 2004-2005, coinciding with both men's interest in purchasing the same Palm Beach mansion. Trump outbid Epstein for the property, paying $41.35 million compared to Epstein's final offer of $37.25 million, the first downfall. In March 2005, Palm Beach police received a complaint from a mother who discovered that Epstein had convinced her 14-year-old daughter to visit his home for a massage in exchange for $300. After months of investigation, police raided Epstein's mansion in October 2005. Despite Epstein's attempts to destroy evidence, investigators found that he had removed computer hard drives and camera equipment. They discovered massage tables throughout the house, hidden cameras inside wall clocks, and CDs labeled with disturbing content including Misc Nudes 1 and Girl Pics Nude. The evidence seemed overwhelming. Police had identified dozens of victims and gathered substantial proof of Epstein's criminal enterprise. Yet in a shocking turn of events, the case was resolved through a secret plea agreement negotiated by federal prosecutor Alex Acosta in 2008. The sweetheart deal allowed Epstein to plead guilty to just 2 state charges: soliciting prostitution and procuring a minor for prostitution. He received only 18 months in county jail, of which he served just 13 months under a work release program that allowed him to leave during the day. The agreement also granted immunity to any potential co-conspirators, a provision that would later prove controversial. The Miami Herald bombshell. For over a decade, Epstein lived freely, continuing to socialize with powerful figures and seemingly putting his criminal past behind him. That changed dramatically in November 2018 when the Miami Herald published a groundbreaking investigative series that exposed the corruption behind Epstein's 2008 plea deal. Reporter Julie Brown's investigation revealed that Alex Acosta had negotiated the agreement in secret, deliberately concealing it from victims in violation of federal law. The deal not only gave Epstein minimal punishment, but also protected unnamed co-conspirators from prosecution. The public outrage that followed forced Acosta to resign from his position as Labor Secretary in Trump's administration. In July 2019, federal prosecutors in New York arrested Epstein on charges of sex trafficking minors. This time, he couldn't escape justice through connections or wealth. When his lawyers requested bail, offering up to $100 million and home confinement with electronic monitoring, the judge refused, keeping Epstein in federal custody. For the first time in decades, it seemed Americans would finally learn the full extent of Epstein's criminal network and the identities of his powerful associates. But on August 10, 2019, just weeks before his trial was set to begin, Epstein was found dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Officials ruled it a suicide by hanging. The suspicious circumstances. The circumstances surrounding Epstein's death immediately sparked conspiracy theories. Several factors fueled public skepticism. First, both cameras outside Epstein's cell mysteriously malfunctioned on the night of his death. Second, 2 guards who were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes failed to do so for over 8 hours. They were reportedly sleeping. Third, Epstein's cellmate had been transferred earlier that day, leaving him alone despite protocol requiring constant supervision for high-risk inmates. Despite an FBI investigation that concluded Epstein died by suicide, these suspicious circumstances have never been adequately explained to public satisfaction. Trump's broken promise. During his 2024 presidential campaign, Trump repeatedly promised to release the Epstein files upon returning to office. His supporters, particularly within the MAGA movement, believed these files contained evidence of a deep state conspiracy involving prominent Democrats and other establishment figures. In February 2025, Attorney General Pam Bondi appeared on Fox News and told viewers that Epstein's alleged client list was sitting on my desk right now and would be released per Trump's directive. But weeks and months passed without any release. Then, On July 7, 2025, the Justice Department and FBI issued a stunning reversal, stating in a memo that no client list existed and that no additional Epstein files would be released. The credibility crisis. This dramatic reversal has created the biggest crisis of Trump's second presidency. The president has even lashed out at his own supporters, calling those demanding the Epstein files release weak, stupid, and bad. The situation deteriorated further when the Wall Street Journal published details of a sexually explicit birthday message Trump allegedly sent to Epstein in 2003, featuring hand-drawn images of a nude woman. Trump has denied these allegations and threatened to sue the newspaper for $10 billion. The surveillance footage controversy. To prove their suicide conclusion, federal authorities released an 11-hour surveillance video from the prison the night Epstein died. They claimed the footage was raw and unedited, showing no one entering or leaving Epstein's cell area. However, technical experts who analyzed the video discovered two major problems. The footage had been edited using Adobe Premiere Pro software, contradicting official claims that it was raw. Additionally, approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds of footage had been deleted from the timeline. These revelations have only deepened public suspicion about the government's handling of the Epstein case. The Israeli connection. Among the most explosive theories surrounding Epstein is the allegation that he worked for Israel's Mossad intelligence agency. This theory gained prominence when media personality Tucker Carlson suggested Epstein might have been a foreign intelligence asset. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett quickly denied these allegations, stating with 100% certainty that claims of Epstein working for Israel or Mossad were false and baseless. However, several factors fuel these suspicions. Epstein maintained close relationships with prominent Israeli officials, including former Prime Minister Ehud Barak, whom he met with approximately 30 times between 2013 and 2017. The Maxwell connection. The strongest link to potential Israeli intelligence involvement centers on Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate and co-conspirator. Maxwell is the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a media mogul who has been widely alleged to have worked as a spy for Israel's Mossad. Robert Maxwell died under mysterious circumstances in 1991, falling overboard from his yacht. He was buried on Jerusalem's Mount of Olives with numerous Israeli intelligence figures in attendance, and was eulogized by then Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir. Former Israeli intelligence operative Ari Ben-Menashe has claimed that both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell worked for Mossad, running a honey trap operation that used young women to compromise and blackmail powerful politicians for Israeli intelligence. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted in 2021 and sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in Epstein's sex trafficking operation. She remains the person who likely knows the most about Epstein's network and any potential intelligence connections. The public revolt. Recent polling shows that 69% of Americans believe the government is hiding information about Epstein's associates, while only 6% trust the official narrative. This represents one of the most dramatic breakdowns in government credibility in recent American history. The Epstein case has exposed deep fractures in American society's trust in institutions. When nearly 3/4 of the population believes their government is lying to them about a major criminal case, it represents a crisis of legitimacy that extends far beyond one man's crimes. The congressional response. As lawmakers return to their districts, many are calling for greater transparency about the DOJ's Epstein investigation. However, the Trump administration's position remains unchanged. No additional files will be released, and no client list exists. The unanswered questions. The Epstein case continues to raise fundamental questions about power, corruption, and accountability in America. How did a college dropout with no apparent skills become a billionaire? Why did so many powerful people associate with him, despite rumors about his behavior? Who benefited from his death? And why is the government so reluctant to provide transparency? Perhaps most troubling is what the case reveals about American society itself. The fact that such a criminal enterprise could operate for decades with apparent protection from prosecution suggests systemic failures that extend far beyond one individual's crimes. The Maxwell factor. Currently, federal authorities are reportedly in contact with Ghislaine Maxwell about potential cooperation with ongoing investigations. A House Oversight Committee is also voting on whether to subpoena her for testimony before Congress. Maxwell's testimony could potentially resolve many of the lingering questions about Epstein's network. However, given the suspicious circumstances surrounding Epstein's death, many question whether she will live long enough to tell her story. As one Maxwell family member recently told The Times, "Epstein didn't kill himself, and my sister fears for her life in prison." Conclusion. The Jeffrey Epstein case represents more than just the crimes of one man. It's become a symbol of institutional corruption and government secrecy that has shaken American democracy to its core. Whether the truth will ever fully emerge remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The American people are no longer willing to accept official narratives without question. The story of Jeffrey Epstein is far from over. As long as questions remain unanswered and files remain sealed, this case will continue to haunt American politics and fuel conspiracy theories about the true nature of power in America. Channel outro. That's a wrap on today's Hot Files investigation, folks. What do you think? Are we looking at the biggest cover-up in American political history, or just a series of unfortunate coincidences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story opened your eyes to something new, smash that like button and share this video with someone who needs to see it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more explosive investigations like this one. Until next time, keep questioning everything and remember, the truth is always stranger than fiction. This has been Daily News AI, and I'll see you in the next one.